So paddle sports like kayaking or rafting growing in popularity. It's so huge around this region recently, but there's also more accidents that we're reporting. So this morning we really want to focus on Paddle Safe Week, which goes through next Saturday. And joining me is Derek Van Dyke. Thanks for being here this morning here. You are the education and outreach coordinator with the Washington State Parks Boating Program. So let's talk about Paddle Safe Week. Why is it necessary?
Well, boating safety is a really important component of the state boating program. Paddle sport fatalities represent about half of our fatalities statewide. We usually, this year we've already lost 5 kayakers in Puget Sound waters. So this week is really about emphasizing safety specific to paddle sports.
Now, what makes the Pacific Northwest waters maybe more unique or different from other waters across the country?
We have cold water. Our water is extremely cold and people are not prepared to swim in cold water. So, you know, a lot of folks, that first gasp when you fall in the water, if you're not wearing a life jacket, you can drown within 30 seconds of hitting the water.
Okay, so what equipment do paddlers need when you're out on the water? Is this stuff provided? Say you're at Green Lake and you want a boat. I mean, do you have to bring some of this with you? Like, how responsible do you need to be?
Well, you know, if you rent a kayak, they should have the legally required equipment, which is a life jacket and a sounding device and a whistle. You know, these are required. A lot of people don't realize that a stand-up paddleboard is a vessel by the Coast Guard, and you must have a life jacket present on board, a Coast Guard approved life jacket, and a whistle. So.
And you see people all the time with none of the above.
No, they're not wearing their life jacket. And again, it's like wearing a seatbelt in the car. Wearing a life jacket is going to keep you alive if you become a swimmer in the water, especially in cold water.
And you know, we were talking during the break. You say people really aren't wearing life jackets correctly. Tell me more about that.
Well, so this is an inflatable life jacket. And so a lot of times what people will do is they will wear like a fanny pack. Of course, it's going to be difficult to put on. That's right. But they wear a fanny pack. I should have it on before we started.
There
we go.
So, and you're supposed to wear it around your waist like this, correct?
Forward on your waist. Oh, it's too small.
Oh, it's
This isn't bad for TV here. But so what happens is on your waist. So what you have to pull this for it to go off. So it pulls, it hangs in front of you. Then you have to put it over your neck. What a lot of people do is they have it behind them.
Well, so we can hear your mic. There we go. So
a lot of people have it behind them, so now it's dangling behind on their bottom, and they cannot put it on properly. So it does not do any good.
Okay, what else can you tell paddlers? I mean, it's going to be a great day. I would imagine tons of people are going to be out on the water. Give us some advice for those folks who are heading out today.
You know the water conditions, know the wind conditions. Expect it to get rougher than you think. Have 2 forms of communication or work wet. So if you need to call for help, you can. A lot of folks rely on their cell phone, and a cell phone wet doesn't do any good. So here are some examples of ways we can keep our phones dry. Or more importantly, this is called a PLB, a personal locator beacon, it's a satellite communicator, or a VHF radio. There's lots of ways to communicate other than a cell phone. So really research the different ways you can communicate. Paddle with a partner, be safe, do the buddy system. Those are really important tips.
Excellent. Thank you so much for bringing all of this here. And just to reiterate, so the things required by law are the life jacket
and a sounding device. So your whistle and a life jacket, and if you're paddling at night, a white light. So if you're paddling past duck. But the main things you must have is a whistle and a life jacket on a SUP, a kayak, or a canoe.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. Derek, thank you so much for that.